Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at some post-war scenarios because World War I just happened. So let's get into it. First off, we have over here in North America, this colony, this part of the colony up here is going to be breaking away because last episode I said that it was getting close to breaking away, that the northern part was, but Brown Team didn't know that it was most of it. So it's going to be breaking away in something like this. So now it looks like this. And the Brown Team's going to fight back against it, but there's really little they can do because most of their troops are in Europe where the World War just took place. So after they have about this much land when the Brown Team troops finally get here, and they immediately take back most of it, about like this. Right, so it looks like this now, and as they push up in, almost getting to one of the major cities, they eventually peace out, and the border will look something like this. And the Brown Team's just going to gain a little bit of land at the bottom here. So boom, that's the new country, and we're going to be promoting this one right here. This is going to be their new capital. So boom, another country. Next we will look at Asia over here. Now this is vastly split between agriculture land and highly developed land, and the northern part doesn't, and the northern part's going to try to break away because they really don't like the bottom part because most of the land is highly developed. So they're going to be doing that as I draw in. So yeah, this is what they look like. Boom. And they're going to be trying to take some of these lesser developed land, the highly agricultural land over here. Eventually they get to like sort of a brick wall right here. There's still some undeveloped land down there, but the troops have already moved down to that spot. And slowly but surely the troops are going to creep into the provinces and slowly take more and more of them back. About something like this, to where a peace treaty has come to, where the orange team, like this dark green team, is actually very generous and gives them most of the land they wanted. It's just that the dark green team gets some of these higher developed land, which is fine because they don't want the developed land. Don't know why. Don't ask me. This is just what they're doing. So they have that, and boom. So this is what it mostly looks like. I'm going to keep drawing some more of it in. And so this, in the peace treaty, they get all of this and this province. So there. This is the new map, and since they don't have any capitals, they're just going to upgrade their biggest city, which is over here, to a capital. So yeah, because they had no major cities. But there's another country on the map. So now there's even more. But now it's going to be something like the Great Depression. And in real life, the Great Depression happened after World War II. But now the Great Depression is going to be happening as some of these countries that were big processors, like this purple one, produced a lot of stuff that other places need, as well as the brown team. The brown team, they still held out and gained lots of land, but they just lost some just recently. But the war tired them out so much that it's hard for them to ship stuff out anymore, and they're getting pretty poor in money. And the red team, since they've gone much almost bankrupt from that bankrupt, hard time for people because they really can't do anything. They have so little money that everybody is forced into poverty in the red and brown regions. Whereas regions like over here in Asia, these 3 Chinese teams, these 2 in Central Asia, the brown team and this purple team, as well as all Oceania is fine. And most of Southern America is fine, whereas a lot of Northern America is struggling, especially the brown team's colony and the dark cyan team's colony. So that's going to be happening, and first thing we see is this Swedish Nordish land being not really taken over, but there's going to be people like rebel groups that are going to spawn here because they want to have own land. So this is going to be happening, and at first and down here they have about this much they had taken away. So they have all this now, and they're slowly going to creep more in, and eventually the north is all theirs. And the brown team troops that are over here are fighting back, but there's little they can do because most of their troops were just in North America here fighting this war. So now they don't really have anything up here, and they're forced to surrender, putting the world through another hard time. And this place is going to immediately split. Okay, so after we did the peace treaty, brown team keeps some of this land, whereas this new country is independent, as well as this country up here. So we're going to instantly give them capitals, and theirs is going to be right here, and this one's is going to be right there. So boom, that is 2 more areas, and the brown team is about to burst open, and we'll see more on that next episode. Meanwhile, down here on red team, I said last episode that they might be gaining some of their land back, which they do. They're going to be attacking this light cyan team, this lightish blue team that just came back last episode, and red team, like, they're pretty bankrupt too, so they eventually go in, but they're not really doing anything. After a while, they just stop. They slowly move forward in some areas, but not much is happening. Whereas in the north, they're having heavy losses, as most of the north of their country is all gone. And eventually, all that land got taken back, and we can see how weak the red team truly is after the war. But eventually, some other red team troops that they had, they had to recruit tons of other people. Eventually, they can get all of this land back, but at a heavy cost. So boom, they have all of this land back, and they slowly push up, and the cyan team's going to surrender. Luckily for the blue team, the red team, because if they stayed in the war much longer, they would have not survived. And boom. So this is what it's going to be looking like. This is the peace treaty. And yes, the red team does have some land over here, and it's going to stay here for now. And yeah. But we have this one, this orange team, and this red team, dark red team. They both have a mutual hate for this the original red team, and they're going to be forming sort of a coalition. We don't really have a coalition map, but what I can show you is something I've been working on recently. It's a culture map. Now, it's pretty old and outdated, and eventually I'm going to be fixing it, but we can see here that this is the red team's area. So I'm going to be fixing this right now. All red team culture is here. This is all red team culture, right? So let's go to the culture map. And boom, we can see that all this area is red team culture, right? So now you can see all this area, red team culture. Purple team culture is kind of confusing because all of this over to here is purple team culture. So all that's purple team culture plus this little bit. So this is all purple team culture, as we can see. Now there is some purple team culture up here, and down here the blue team culture is very big as it stretches all the way like this. So this is all the blue team culture, and this is the South African culture. That's like all there, and it even made some impacts up here, so they have all that. Whereas there's this dark plum color, and it goes all the way up through here. That's where this culture goes. So that's all their culture. And the green team has some culture. I mean, their culture spreads up into here like this. And it goes like that. Eventually, at one point, yellow team used to be here, and they would have, that's not right, and they owned all, that's not right again. Well, anyway, they owned like a lot of this before the Cyan team, which is an empire right now, took it. So its culture is still a thing, but it's not really, it doesn't exist anymore besides other yellow teams, like down over there and over there, in Oceania and South America. And the red team also has some culture, like all this culture is theirs. All the way over to here where it's sort of split, just like that. All that's split. So we can see all it's split, and the yellow team culture owns like all of this. So boom. So this is what we can see of their culture. And the orange team's culture, it does expand some, well, that's the wrong color, but it does expand down into here and up in there. But yeah, so that's the orange team's culture. And the Cyan team has some culture. Like all of this, the rest of this is their culture. So all this is their culture. And boom. So we can see all the Cyan team's culture is here, as well as down here. It has culture here, and it stretches all the way over to there. And there's also this team's culture, which goes here, and it does go up into here, spreads out like this. And then there is, yep, the yellow team's culture, which is like this. Just so you know, this is not religion map, this is culture. I didn't make that clear enough. And then, yep, all of this culture stays the same, besides for the orange team up here. It belongs to the brown team. It has their culture, as well as some of the areas in Cyan team. And up here, it goes up like that. So boom, that's their culture. It's pretty big. And then Cyan team culture, the dark Cyan team. Their culture is everywhere up here to like all the way there. And then boom. So this is most of their culture. It does expand onto those islands, because these islands used to be theirs. I don't know why that isn't working, but anyway, boom, boom. So this is all their culture. They have lots of culture here. And the brown team also has culture up here in Alaska and parts of Canada. Boom. So this is most of the culture map. Cyan team probably, don't know why that isn't working right now, but isn't. And so their culture, Cyan team culture, also reaches out into Spain and Portugal, and probably little parts of France. And then the rest of the brown team culture is here. And then it reaches out all the way up until there. So yeah, most of this video has been about the culture. So yeah, most of the video has been about the culture. Sorry for that, but it will be a little bit more on the post-war stuff next episode. So be sure to watch that when it comes out. And so boom, all this is their culture. And Denmark, Germany, and France, Belgium, Britain, the Brittany area, all that is their culture, right? So all this is brown team culture plus bits of this. Now we get into Asia. So down here, there is more brown team culture. Let's bring up 3. So boom, yeah, all this brown team culture. And in this series, there was no race for Africa. There was just like people coming down and exploring Africa. They like burst out, you know, instead of what else? Instead of like the colonial powers racing for it. That's the name implies. But now we're going to get into this part of the culture, the culture of what is this? This is Russia. Russian culture. Russian culture is all throughout, and even in parts of the green country, because it goes all the way down like this and to there. It does not go into the green team. Boom. So all that is their culture. And the green team has their own culture, but it's really just in their area. They don't really have, they have some in Russia over there, as you can see, and some in this part of the country, and a lot down here, but that's really it. Honestly, the smallest culture in this play and everywhere is probably gonna be the orange team's culture. It's pretty small. Whereas to the Russian countries, it's pretty big. Okay, now onto the Chinese team. This team, I mean, its culture, it does have like its culture in these areas, but it's not really, I mean, like, it's really just in their areas. It doesn't really have it anywhere else. I mean, besides for all the rest of this country, it has all their culture there. All the rest. and boom. So there is Asia. Now down to here, we're going to this Dark Cyan team. In this, there are repeating colors. So like this brown team is not part of that brown team. They're completely different. Okay, in this area, that's pretty much all theirs. Don't know why my paint bucket isn't working, but it just isn't. So that's why this part's taking so long. But they have culture there, and everywhere else besides this yellow area, which is colonized, believe it or not, by the yellow team, who is not here anymore, and they just like basically took their color once the yellow team died. So yeah, let's go over here, New Zealand. Yeah, so yellow team culture. That's wrong. And boom. So this is the culture map. It may not look that right to you compared to the real map, like this. But yeah, so that's culture map. Back down into what we were talking about. But okay, so we're gonna move on now. And up over to here, we're going to be having a union between the Russian team and this gray team. Now, the gray team broke off, I believe, from the Russian team a long time ago when the Russian team was like just in Europe, and then they eventually spread over them. But they're going to be unioning, so it's kind of like the Soviet Union kind of thing, but they just want to be united back again. Because, I mean, it was, like, better that way. So, yeah. Wait, that's not right. Okay. Well, boom. So here. So they have all this area now. So, and if you saw last episode, which you didn't, I would recommend go seeing it. Because, what are you doing here? But anyway. That because you would not know what's happening right now with all this. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. We didn't really do much besides the culture map, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.